27 new COVID cases announced. 170 million loan guarantee for FDB. And $300 million direct spending on COVID-related matters. And Renaka, Fiji. Fiji has recorded 27 new COVID-19 cases yesterday. This as 14 more cases have been announced last night. 13 of the latest cases are contacts of previously announced cases, with 9 from the Navy cluster, and now 22 cases are related to this cluster. There are 3 contacts of the Waila cluster, while 1 case is a household contact of case 244 in the Monikoso cluster. There is 1 case who was a day patient at CWM Hospital. The woman was not admitted but was tested as part of a pre-admission screening program that is being conducted at the hospital. Health Permanent Secretary Dr. James Fong says investigations are ongoing into the possible source of her infection. There are 8 more recoveries, which means there are now 127 active cases in isolation. Fiji has had 286 cases in total, with 155 recoveries and 4 deaths since our first case was reported on March 19, 2020. Parliament has approved a $170 million government guarantee for the Fiji Development Bank, with a 0.075% fee on the growing utilized guarantee credit. This follows a lengthy debate in Parliament, where the Minister for Economy highlighted the purpose of the guarantee and how it will assist the country. Koroi Tandulala reports.
The government guarantee will provide a lifeline for many businesses and other sectors battling the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic.
I think some of the members of the opposition have said, and others from our side have said also, that gives FDB the capacity to go out and raise funds in the market and to also lend. And we do agree. We need to spur on investment. We need to spur on consumption. We need to ensure that the small businesses actually stay alive.
Because FDB is a Fijian institution and has survived all these years as a true patriot, I, along with the members of the side of the House, will support this motion before the House.
The Minister for Economy says the fund will also enable continued facilitation and implementation of government policies by lending to the essential sectors.
Particularly resource-based sectors, including agriculture, mining and quarrying, manufacturing, transport, communications and storage, small and micro enterprises, which will assist Fijians to earn a decent livelihood, and of course that is a challenge in respect of what's happening given COVID-19.
The guarantee also ensures that FDB lends to resource-based sectors such as agriculture and assist Fijians in the informal and formal sectors. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
The government has spent $300 million directly on COVID-19 related matters. Minister for Economy Ayaz Sayed Qayyum says $160 million has been paid out in the 2 phases of unemployment benefits. Sayed Qayyum says $100 million was provided for health and medical services, including the Fiji Police Force, RFMF and others working in the front line. He adds $30 million has been provided in concessional loans for micro, small and medium enterprises and $10 million paid through the M-Pesa grant.
Number of household assisted, 37,206 in Nandi Lotoka area. Suva Nosori Lemming, 81,430. Total funds disbursed in a matter of 3 or 4 days was $10.6 million.
The continuous attempts by opposition whip Linda Tambuya in trying to prove the Attorney General was infectious with COVID-19 have been labeled as undermining the work of frontline workers. Tambuya, on several occasions, including through an email, suggested that Attorney General Ayaz Sayed Qayyum, upon returning from Singapore, was positive with the virus. The Attorney General, while responding, says there are protocols in place for travelers and he was not exempted from following the process. Sayed Qayyum says he followed the quarantine requirement and was tested when going and upon returning.
The Honourable Attorney General had stated that I had accused him of bringing COVID to Fiji. Okay, so this second time around, so I do want to challenge him to answer the question. Did he?
If I had COVID-19, Mr. Speaker, sir, all the health professionals in this country would have been responsible, including PS Fong. And she would have had COVID-19 by now, because your leader is the father of my wife. And he visits her and then he is with you, and he would have contracted it from her, and you would have got it by now. This is so illogical.
Information technology retailer Bonwell was told to close its outlet at the FNPF Plaza in Suva yesterday after it was seen receiving customers. Police officers were sent to the store to inform management that they must close immediately. FBC News was at the plaza and observed customers lining up outside. They were also seen entering and buying items. The Ministry of Commerce says Bonwell was not allowed to open for retail sales to the public as the company has only been given permission to support essential services on a call basis. When contacted by FBC News, Bonwell General Manager Ajitesh Kumar says there was some confusion since they had sought approval from the Ministry of Commerce and Trade.
Our businesses has put out signages on social media, plus at the stores, that we will not allow anyone to come in for browsing that they used to do.
The current COVID-19 situation has left many businesses financially fragile. For the small town of Lembasa, businesses are struggling to stay afloat. Eleanor Turangaiviu has more.
The coronavirus pandemic has caused massive disruption among small businesses in Lembasa just several weeks after its onset.
The business that we've been running here in Lembasa, this year is really bad.
It's worse than last year, and our business community, they are struggling at the moment.
Many small businesses do not have enough cash on hand to survive for the next few months.
Business is very low. We can't afford to pay the rent. Our daily sales maybe $150 per day only. Our rent is too high.
The COVID-19 safety protocols has forced a lot of people to stay home, and many are opting to buy food directly from farmers rather than coming into town.
They'll try and open the businesses, and they will not reduce their staffs and the hours at present.
For clothing retailers, business has gone from bad to worse.
Very hard time. It's the business going down day by day.
The Lembasa Chamber of Commerce fears there might be closures and job losses should the situation continue.
If this thing will continue maybe another week or so, definitely they have to do that, otherwise they will not survive.
Already around 20 businesses have been closed and almost 100 individuals without work after they were deemed high risk by the Ministry of Health. Eleanor Turangaiviu, FBC News.
The Ministry of Agriculture is establishing a chain of nurseries to support the mangrove restoration project. This is part of the Ministry's Mangrove Advancement Program to help restore traditional fishing grounds. Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says Navuni Ibi village in Rakiraki is facing coastal erosion due to the impacts of climate change. Dr. Reddy says the mangroves will establish new fishing grounds for the villages while helping stop the erosion of the coastal areas.
A total of 600 mangrove seedlings were planted to help restore traditional fishing ground. The coastal erosion causes the village to venture out into deeper waters to catch fish.
Upper hand rugby grade concerned with flying Fijians. And Australia warm up on the cards for Team Fiji. Stay with us. Welcome back. Two All Blacks greats are concerned whether the Flying Fijians are going to be competitive against the three-time world champions next month. Sir John Cowan and Mills Muliaina revealed their opinions on Sky Sports' The Breakdown show on Tuesday night. Fiji Rugby Union Chief Executive John O'Connor has refused to comment on the matter. Former Fiji Under-20 captain Temo Mayanavanua's 6-month stint has now been extended to another 2 years for French-based club Lyon. The 24-year-old joined Lyon last year as a medical joker, and after an impressive performance, Mayanavanuatu will now stay on for the next 2 seasons. Before joining Lyon, the young lock had attracted interest from clubs in the Super Rugby and Top 14 competition.
I extended my contract with Lyon for another 2 years, so I'll be here until 2023. I was interested in coming home after a contract for 6 months.
Plans are in the pipeline to send Team Fiji for some game time to Australia ahead of the Tokyo Olympic Games. Fesanok has been having discussions with the Fiji Sports Commission and the Australian government on the matter. Sports Commission Chair Peter Mazie says this will be timely for Team Fiji as the Olympics looms.
The Australian government is assisting in seeing swimming and athletics and our rugby team, sevens teams, men and women, go to Australia for competition and training.
Fiji Association of Sports and National Olympic Committee has issued an advisory to sporting federations to keep in constant contact with their athletes and members. Chief Executive Lorraine Ma says these are unusual times that no one had really prepared for. She says sports in Fiji need to stay alive and each federation has to play its part in ensuring consistency and communication.
I do feel for our national federations having to go through this again, but I think all of them would realize that the importance of refraining at this time, unless you have the right platforms from conducting their sport.
Cloudy periods with a few showers expected over most parts of the country today. The conditions will remain cool. That's FBC Morning News. Join us at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good morning.